The castle where the Knights Templar are currently located belongs to the de Cox family. They found their way here using the key that Godfrey had hidden in his stomach. The old physician of the Knights Templar discovered that the key was not meant to open a box but was instead to be installed on a gemstone. Everyone saw the gem shining through the light, reflecting the de Cox family emblem. At the castle of de Cox, Landry learned a secret. Godfrey was the owner of the castle, Marcel de Cox. For many years, Godfrey had been protecting the Holy Grail, ensuring it did not fall into the wrong hands. An old man who appeared to be a steward recounted Godfrey's story from before he joined the Knights Templar to 2 knights. Back then, Godfrey was not the brave and loyal man people spoke of. He once stabbed his own brother Raymond with a sword because of his desire for power. Although Raymond did not die, he was left disabled. However, Raymond forgave his brother's actions, which filled Marcel de Cox with guilt. He then decided to join the Knights Templar and changed his name to Godfrey. Later, Godfrey found the Holy Grail and used it to serve wine to his brother. Miraculously, after drinking the wine, Raymond was able to stand up. Landry and Tancrede couldn't believe what the old man said. They felt it was as unbelievable as a fairy tale. To prove his story, the old man removed his clothes, revealing a scar that ran through his chest and back. It turned out that this old man was Raymond de Cox, Godfrey's elder brother. The two showed expressions of disbelief, but the person involved was standing right in front of them. Raymond turned around and took out a scroll, which was the clue about the Holy Grail left by Godfrey. Just as Raymond was about to hand them a scroll containing clues about the Holy Grail left by Godfrey, he was stabbed, and the scroll was stolen. Tancrede quickly chased after the black-clad figure, while Landry stayed behind to check on Raymond. The man in black, who had already escaped, was now checking the scroll. At the same time, Tancrede chased after him, and then the two of them fought fiercely for a scroll. The man in black had already read the contents of the scroll and he planned to destroy it. Tancrede attacked him, and during their struggle, the scroll fell to the ground. The scroll fell to the ground, and the knight was about to pick it up, but the man in black was more agile. The knight who got the scroll was about to turn around and leave, but was controlled by the whip in the black man's hand. The scroll was fought over between the two men. Tancrede was very anxious. The man in black saw that he was no match for the knight and threw the scroll into the fireplace. Just as he tried to retreat, Tancrede picked up his longsword and stabbed his opponent through the body. Tancrede rushed to the fireplace, but the scroll had already been mostly burned. On the other side, Landry was also attacked by a man in black. The man in black threw concealed weapons not far away, but none of them hit Landry. Obviously, the other party did not want to kill him. Landry gave chase, but the figure disappeared. Just then there was a voice.
The Grail is not yours to find.
Landry thought the voice was familiar, but looked around and couldn't see anyone. Voices echoed in the empty room, and all he could do was use agitation, calling the man hiding in the shadows a coward, trying to force the other man out. Just then, Tancrede suddenly appeared. The shout diverted Landry's attention, and his opponent took the opportunity to cross over Landry and escape down the sewer pipe. Landry felt that their mission had been in vain since the scroll was destroyed. However, Tancrede pointed out that the black-clad man was still alive and knew the contents of the scroll. In the end, they captured a barely alive heretic. At this time, there is also a new development on the royal side. As King Philip's Queen Joan is pregnant, feeling something abnormal in her body, she hurriedly arranged for the imperial physician to examine her body. The royal doctor examined her and determined that she was pregnant. The royal doctor was very happy and felt that there was a new member of the royal family. But the queen was full of worry, and she instructed the royal physician not to tell anyone about it, especially the king. Thinking that the queen wanted to surprise the king, the royal physician agreed to it. Only the queen herself knows that she hasn't shared a bed with King Philip for 2 years. If the king found out about her pregnancy, the consequences would be dire. In the beginning, when she just spoke a few more words with a piano player, King Philip chopped off all the fingers of the piano player, so she couldn't let the king know about it. The queen ordered her maid to find some abortifacient drugs. The maid had found medicine, but the side effects were so great that even if she survived, she would most likely go blind. Desperate, the queen decided to keep the drugs just in case. Knightfall, King Philip's trusted minister, did not believe in Christianity because his parents had died in a religious incident, burned alive. He did not want Princess Isabella to marry into Catalonia, as it would strengthen the Pope's influence. Knightfall met with the English envoy and proposed his plan. King Philip had sent a horse to the English prince, which was Princess Isabella's favorite. However, the English envoy stated that he was there to discuss the marriage proposal and threaten war if the princess did not marry Prince Edward. This was all part of Tancrede's plan to force the princess into marriage through the threat of war. King Philip, falling for the ruse, ordered Tancred to seek military aid from Catalonia. However, the Catalonian envoy refused, stating that Catalonian soldiers would not fight for France. This was all part of Tancred's scheme. But an unexpected event occurred. A man stepped forward from the crowd and, with just a few words, infuriated Tancred, who threatened to cut out the man's tongue. Yet the man smiles and formally introduces himself to everyone. It turns out that his true identity is Prince Louis of Catalonia, who has been disguising himself all along. The crowd was surprised, and then this prince took it upon himself to say that he would send reinforcements. Tancred watches as everything that happens in front of him goes out of his control, and there is no way to break off the princess's marriage. The king was very happy about this and even held a banquet. However, this banquet was mainly to celebrate Landry's promotion to the Grand Master of the Order of Paris. During the banquet, the king asked Landry to help mend his broken marriage with the queen. Landry and the queen danced and talked, with Landry expressing his intention to end their secret relationship to focus on finding the Holy Grail and managing the Knights Templar. The Queen wanted to tell Landry about her pregnancy but didn't get the chance. Joan was in so much pain that she went back to her room and drank the potion in one desperate gulp. At this time, in another room, Princess Isabella was very happy because she was with Prince Louis. Tancred hurried into a secret passage and skillfully removed a wooden plug. On the other side of the wall was Princess Isabella's room. At the same time, the captured Saracen from the de Cock's castle was revived by the Templar physician. He spoke of prophecies and the world falling into darkness. Tancrede questioned him about the scroll and the Holy Grail, but the Saracen refused to answer. Gawain prepared to torture him, but the Saracen began speaking in English, predicting the destruction of the Knights Templar and the burning of Paris and the temple. He also foretold Gawain's death by fire. Landry returned to the temple and asked Tancrede about the Saracen. Tancrede reported that the Saracen had been rambling about the Holy Grail destroying the world and would only speak to Landry. Landry pushed open the door of the ward with doubt, but saw a cold corpse.
What happened here?
In France, there was an old man who was the last resident pagan in the area. When he saw the Knights Templar, he couldn't help but show his surprise, as there was significant conflict between the two factions, even to the point of bloody confrontations. Landry found the old man to ask for help. Landry then drew an 8-pointed star on the ground, containing a crescent moon, and asked the old man if he knew its meaning. Seeing the symbol, the old man said he had never seen it before. The reason Landry was asking was that he had seen this symbol on the wrist of a murdered Saracen, which stirred memories from his childhood. However, he couldn't remember who the person associated with the symbol was, so he sought Jonas's help. Jonas was a doctor. He first threw a handful of powder into the fire and began preparations. He cut his palm with a dagger and then stained a wooden snake figurine red with his blood. After completing this ritual, he gave Landry a drop of an unknown liquid, and Landry instantly entered his memories. In his memories, Landry saw his mother sending him to a monastery, and he also saw Godfrey. At that young age, Landry desperately wanted to be Godfrey's squire and follow him to Jerusalem, but Godfrey did not agree and told him to enjoy being a child. Soon after, there was a knock at the monastery door. Outside stood a man named Malraux, who claimed to be from Toulouse and was asking about Godfrey's whereabouts. Landry quickly informed Godfrey about this. However, Godfrey was not surprised. The next morning, Malraux appeared and brutally cut off the arm of the abbess. Godfrey knew that Malraux was a misguided Cathar assassin. The Cathars were originally a peaceful sect, but Malraux had used this identity to become a killer. However, these are not the main points. The main point is to find the Holy Grail. Malraux, thinking Landry was Godfrey's son, used him as a hostage. In his panic, Landry revealed that the box was in a tree, and Malraux cut the rope to retrieve it. As he was reaching for the box, Godfrey stopped Malraux. Landry took the opportunity to grab the box and run, but Godfrey was injured by Malraux's falcon gauntlet and fell. Landry ran as fast as he could, but being just a child, he soon ran out of strength and hid behind a large rock. He peeked out but saw no sign of Malraux. Suddenly, Malraux appeared beside him.
Get up, boy!
Just as Malraux was about to kill Landry, An arrow struck him in the back. Godfrey had come to the rescue. Malraux tried to sow discord, saying that Godfrey had only returned for the Holy Grail in the box. Godfrey revealed that the box contained only sand and that the Holy Grail had already been taken away. With that, Landry became Godfrey's squire and followed him eastward. In the desert, they encountered a man with an 8-pointed star branded on his wrist. The man held an orange and muttered something. In reality, Landry kept repeating this phrase. When Landry wakes up, Jonas tells him that the phrase means he who discovers his own self discovers God. According to legend, this sect has appeared since the 14th century and is a general term for various Christian mystical sects that claim to have received revelations from God. Jonas told Landry that stories about this organization were widespread along the Silk Road. He said these people were not ruled by anyone, and no one knew where they came from. They acted mysteriously, killed many, and then disappeared without a trace, often using an orange to gather their followers. Back at the Templar headquarters, Landry hung an orange from the battlements to attract these people. Before leaving, Landry had also given Gawain a task, which was now complete. After a series of interrogations, Gawain identified a trainee knight as a major suspect, tied him up, and whipped him with a whip to interrogate him. However, the man refused to confess. Tancrede couldn't bear to watch it and stopped the flogging. The man then looked at Tancrede and suddenly confessed to killing the Saracen. This was all part of Gawain's plan. When Tancrede intervened, Gawain knew he was the real culprit. Tancrede calmly admitted his guilt, believing that the Holy Grail would bring disaster because many had already died for it. He chose to kill to prevent the Grail from being found. He also spoke some profound words.
Look at the pain the Grail has already caused. Godfrey's death, and all the bloodshed since. If God wanted men to possess the Grail, he wouldn't keep taking it from us.
Tancrede was eventually jailed. Queen Joan, after taking the medicine, found that she felt no discomfort and was slightly relieved. Her maid, however, showed no surprise and was too calm. The Queen of Catalonia came to France and mentioned the Kingdom of Navarre as soon as they met, which made Queen Joan feel very uncomfortable. Although she was the rightful ruler of Navarre, she had never been there. Seeing this, de Nogaret began to plot. He told the Catalan envoy about Isabella and Prince Louis's affair. The news quickly reached the Queen of Catalonia.
Luis! Prepare yourself, we are leaving.
What is wrong, Your Grace? Has something happened?
Nothing from you, strumpet.
Mother!
Who had been looking for an excuse not to lend troops to France. She claimed that Isabella's behavior was unbecoming of a princess and that such a princess was not worthy of Catalonia. King Philip was furious when he heard this and agreed to the Queen's demand to publicly verify Isabella's virginity to dispel the rumors. Isabella was terrified. Knowing what she had done, Queen Joan encouraged her daughter to face the situation bravely. Isabella lay in bed, feeling deeply humiliated that a princess of France had to undergo such an examination. She began to resent Prince Louis, believing he must have spread the rumor since only the two of them knew the truth. She even started to regret her decision to marry him. After the examination, the results showed that Princess Isabella was still pure. In fact, Queen Joan bribed the person in charge of the examination, but she seemed to have noticed that the Queen was pregnant, so she tactfully advised the Queen to take care of her health. The Queen was shocked when she learned this. She went back and did a test herself and found that she was still pregnant. Her maid had switched the medicine, fearing the Queen would regret her decision, as her sister had gone blind from a similar drug and regretted it every day. That being the case, the Queen decided to make the best of a mistake, and now there was another way to make this child King Philip's child. She went to King Philip's chamber and undressed. Meanwhile, outside the palace, Isabella's favorite white horse lies dead and miserable on a blue cloth printed with the French crest. Originally a gift from King Philip to the Prince of England, the horse has been returned in such a way that it seems to signal that something big is about to happen.